Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Perkins, aka Perkins Billions. But my right is
My name is DJ Handsome Mix, but people knows me with Igwe.
Lisa B.
Lisa B. All right.
Hi, I'm Naomi.
Naomi.
And I'm Kamala.
And my sister Kamala. So today we'll be discussing about relationship, why people cheat in marriage. Why is cheating so predominant today in marriage? So I will first of all start by Igwe to give us his perspective.
Okay, my own little opinion, according to my little experience as a guy, I'll start from men. I think sometimes men cheat by choice, but sometimes they will use the excuse of men are polygamy in nature, blah, blah, blah. For me, sometimes it might be true. I will speak in a perspective of African men, the way we was brought up before the English people, they now change our culture to one man, one wife. When I was growing up in our culture, a man has every right to marry as many women as they can, only if he can be able to feed them. So if you don't have money to feed them, you don't have to marry them in order to suffer them. So now, because of maybe the way of culture, we adapt, trying to adapt to the culture that is not our culture. Then many men trying to pretend to stay with one man, one wife, which they're not telling themselves truth. Because funny enough, we human beings, we're not telling ourselves truth sometimes. So I believe that some men, they will live exactly what they like or the kind of women they are dating. In terms of marriage, they're now looking for good women, a woman that looks so humble, like this and that. So many men might be going for a woman that has big booty, big breasts, a lot of things, but time to marriage, they will go and marry different type of choice. At the same time, when they go outside, the same thing that was dating is the same thing that attract to them. They still go from the back to cheat.
It's always good. It's always good to go for the kind of woman you like. Settle down with the kind of physique you like.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll give the mic now.
So why do men and women cheat?
In marriage.
In marriage. I think because we've lost the value of marriage and that sacred union between the man and the woman. And in today's society, it's highly sexualized and we lack shame. Whereas if you go back, if a woman or mostly women, but if a woman and a man were to cheat in marriage, then the community would look at them with shame. You know, they would feel some sort of shame and potentially be isolated and frowned upon, depending on whether it was the man and the woman. And we lack that. We lack that shame and we lack that value for the marriage and that union.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
So should I come to
Me
you?
too.
So, being someone that's been married myself wasn't something that I chose to do. I didn't cheat. In today's society, messed up. What we see in social media, it just really messes with people's narrative of how to be as a person, its values. And I go back to what you were saying, DJ. I feel like you're looking at from a superficial point of view, like looking at the big booty and all that. You got to go in deep. It's about depth. And if you're in a marriage, if you don't come together, then I mean, what's the point? But you can cheat, married, not married. It doesn't matter. Anybody can cheat. Like you can be married for 20 years and then something might change.
Let's say take marriage out of it for now. Why do people cheat?
Why do they cheat?
Whether relationship or marriage, just girlfriend, boyfriend.
Boyfriend and girlfriend. Two people in relationship, not marriage, just dating.
Probably because their house is bored. It's probably boredom. Like you're not giving enough of what you brought to the table from the start, or I don't know. I actually can't give you an answer because when I was married, I didn't look to cheat because I'm here with my heart. So yeah, why people choose to do it? It's obviously everybody has different
mindset. I agree. All right, Kamala.
I would say that some of it will be, the environment that they're in, not just like social media. I think it as well is that there's so much variety. So people are like, well, you know what, they're trying to pinpoint what things they like about somebody. So they could like this person and like certain things and like this person, and they want to combine it into one, and you can't combine everything into one. You know what I mean? It's like when you're going into a union, it's a way that you have to learn what is the main ingredients that sustains the relationship. It's not about all of the superficialities, because you can have that all day long, but what's going to actually sustain, where you know you can work and grow and evolve together in order to create what it is what you want to have in the bigger picture. But everybody's so now, they're not looking at the bigger picture into what we're trying to build for the future of when you have children, your family, all of these elements that are supposed to be the structure in order to be sustainable as a relationship. You know what I mean? So it's like if you're going and you're finding partners and you're not looking for the same kind of morals, the same kind of values, you know, these are the things that if you look back into society, they were the things where what was the cornerstone of the relationship.
If you don't have that together, then it's just going to break down a lot quicker, isn't it?
Yeah. But okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say though, relationships, as we know, they're like roller coasters. They're up and down. You could be with someone for the rest of your life in a marriage. You're gonna fuck up. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
You are gonna mess up, and you know, in a variety of ways. But it's are you gonna keep working at it? Do you know what I'm saying? You're going to find that your partner is incompatible in some ways down the line, or you're annoyed by your partner in some ways, or, you know, life throws stuff at you.
Yes.
It's going to destroy your relationship. That's just how life is. But are you going to work through it? Are you going to stay together and work through those challenges? I think that's what's going to ultimately sustain the relationship.
On another note as well, what I find myself anyway when I'm just observing and things like that is, you know, people use words, but they don't know the actual meaning of the word. So it's like when we say communication, you know, people say, oh, but I communicate. But I see a lot of people who are in relationships and, you know, they're coming from their own perspective. They're not looking at it as trying to understand that other person and that other person to understand that person. So when there's a breakdown in communication, it's like, yeah, you could be sleeping with this partner and yeah, you feel like you know them. But most times, they don't even say how they want that person to make love to them. So you're just making love to a person. How do you want to make love to that person? Yeah. So then sometimes, you know, especially if people have had different partners, they're going to be looking at, oh, well, this person made me feel this type of way, but I love this person, but it doesn't give it me the same way as this person did. But if you was to be able to communicate and say, you know, this is how I like it, I feel like a lot of things would be able to be a bit more, you know, structured into being sustainable as well.
I think I have a statement about what you said. You're making a sense, but let me just come from many African men, because what you just said now, many African men lack this understanding of asking a woman, how do you want this? And so many women, when it comes to African women, they're scared to speak out because some of our mentality, when a woman say, I don't want it this way, why can't you give me this way? The man will say, oh, you are a prostitute. How do you know this thing? So many women are scared to speak out to their partner to say, this is how I want to enjoy it. Can we try this? You know what I mean? Because they don't want their man to rebel them prostitute. So that is when relationships start being cracking. Because for me, I believe in a communication. Because some men think that what another woman prefer is the same thing to another woman. Because some women like kissing, some women like touching, some women like foreplay, some women don't care about it. So some men in their head feel like every woman is the same. You come, boom, you open your bed, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So you can't ask, oh, how do you want it? How do you feel it? How do you enjoy it? You know what I mean?
I understand what everybody said, but let's bring it back. Is why do we cheat in a relationship? Let's say I'm married to a woman. Why do I have to go out and leave this woman and cheat with another person? Maybe sometimes it could be the woman is not doing what she's supposed to do for me. She could be, when we started at the beginning, she was so good, dressing sexy. Before I come to the house, she's make everything ready. She make my life easy for me. But in marriage, she have relapsed. So she doesn't do her hair and nails. She's just like,
I think
she does not care anymore.
People get complacent. That's one of the main elements that you see. But that's because, you know, if you've been with somebody for a while, sometimes you don't have that same you know, as when you first meet somebody. And I think what it is in society now is everybody's looking for this thrill, like as if the thrill is meant to be sustainable. But that's, you know, it's like if you want the thrill, that's something that two people have to work on in order to keep that alive. But it's never always going to be alive. Sometimes it's going to be just dormant.
Definitely.
You
We're
know
not,
what I mean?
we're not saying there should not be ups and downs. There will be a time a woman will be tired.
In the start of any relationship,
Yeah.
both of you are going to put your best foot forward. Like,
Yeah,
you're
but
both going to present.
I want you to understand something. Let's say, let me use hours for example, 24 hours in a day. You're tired. At least within that 24 hours, give me 3-4 hours of sexiness. Let me see the spark in you. Not just being just there.
That is where the conversation
Yeah.
should come in.
Communication.
Yeah.
Communication.
If you
not just
communicate that to your partner, like, and you are on that same playing field,
yeah.
like, you should have that communication and want to give that to each other. Like,
definitely go
it has
both
to
ways.
work both ways.
Yeah, definitely
It
go
has
both
to work
ways.
both ways. But like Kamala said, complacency happens. Putting your best foot forward happens at the start, and then you become complacent, and then you lose the lack of communication, and then things become stale, and then that leads to cheating because you're looking for something what you once had, and if you lose that communication, you once had it. You don't communicate about it or your new desires or what you used to like or what I would like to try. If you don't communicate it, you're gonna lose it.
And there has to be compromise. I think
Sure,
that's
definitely,
one of the
100.
big things that's
Very
missing
important,
is
100.
that nobody wants to compromise. It's like, well, this is what I want. You know, it's not about and this is what I need. But it's not about I, is it? You know, the words that we use is what actually separates us. Because if I just keep using I and there's no we, there's no us, there's, you know what I mean? You're separating that union. So if you, like, people need to try and learn how to change the language. And obviously, I think a lot of it comes from cultures because, you know, what we're taught of, a lot of people will say, oh, well, my mum or my dad. And it's like, yeah, but that was their time. You know, this is your time. You know, we're not here to create relationships what other people had. We're here to create relationships that we think is going to be better for society moving forward. And I think because we've gone too much into the I, and it's all about me, there's no we. And I think that's what's separating a lot of people from having an actual really good relationship.
Let me ask you one question. In a relationship, because sometimes, well, I don't think anybody should get married before this question. You have to be very, this one is very important. Sexual partner, before you get married to a man or a woman, does she satisfy you, first of all? It's very important.
Why are you already at marriage if you've not found that bit out already? Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So is it
unless we're going back to sex before marriage,
Yes.
then, I mean, obviously you should have had some kind of relations to know.
No, I don't think there should be sex
I
before
think-
marriage.
No,
I
that's
think
what I'm
that-
saying, but if that isn't
Yeah.
put in place, then you should have
Yeah.
some kind of
Idea,
idea.
yeah.
And you
of
have
whether
to
this
remember
person
as
is
well,
compatible.
if you go back into, say, like, you know, the older days, let's just be honest, it's like women, if I was going out with DJ and I like DJ, it wouldn't really matter too much about that sex because I really like him. I'm falling in love with him.
Because
So
you
he
be
does-
with one just
Exactly.
DJ.
So I'll be like, you know, he's treating me the way I feel at that point is right. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So when you're talking about sex, I think everyone's making it so big about the sex. Sex is important, don't get me wrong.
That's just
But
one
it's
element.
only one element. If you have 24 hours in a day and somebody's going to work, you're not having sex, you're not kissing. So what are you having what's going to be stimulating this relationship in order to make it go the journey? Them things are not going to be it.
But
But
as
we're
a partner,
focusing
you
so
should-
much on all of this promiscuity and sexual things. But we have to really get down to it. It's like when you are really into a person and then you actually communicate with that person, this is how I like
You
it,
know what they
do
like.
it like this,
Yeah.
and then that person starts doing them things. Sex is going to be really good.
Yeah, if you
get what
learn
I'm
your
saying?
partner and understand your partner and learn them and what they
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
then things can only get better.
Can I come in? There's one thing you said that I disagree with. Parkins, he said there shouldn't be. He said there shouldn't be sex before marriage.
No, I said there should be sex before marriage.
Okay,
No,
I thought he said there shouldn't be.
there should
No, I
Because-
said unless,
No,
it
unless
is a
it
case
wasn't.
of
Yeah,
sex
but the
before
culture,
marriage.
the English culture, some of us humiliate we was told that you don't have to get sex before marriage.
No, that if you that,
But
that is
I
like Christianity.
I disagree. Yo, Christianity, I disagree with that because,
Definitely, actually.
because it
Why?
makes no
Why
sense.
Go
Why
on,
though?
finish your point.
Okay,
Finish
now
your
the
point,
reason
Zara.
why I disagree with that is that for me, I think in a relationship, sexual companion is very important because I don't see reason why I should take risks to marry someone that at the end of the marriage I now find out that this is not what I want. Oh, the person is not neat. Hygiene is zero
But
hygiene.
you would know that before, though, isn't it?
How do I know that if I don't have sex with my partner? How do I know?
But you would
So I-
know the hygiene, though. Is what
No,
I'm
but
saying.
no. Let's leave the hygiene. Let's focus on the
now,
the
Okay.
bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let him
but
finish
okay,
his
now,
point.
so
Let
now,
him finish his
before,
point.
if I have to get married to a woman without sex, how do I know that this woman can satisfy me? How do I know that I can be able to satisfy this woman?
Do you know some women?
Can
Because
I
that's
come
what I'm
back
saying
off
when it
that?
comes to
Can I come
communication.
back off
let's
that?
have-
Because sex before marriage, like
Was this a
sex,
thing?
listen, it could be amazing before marriage. You could have an amazing sex session with your to-be wife, your fiance, whoever that is. But then it could be dry a year later. I don't think it matters that much. What matters is that you both have a willingness to please each other and compromise and build and work. Like, because what's that going to tell you? I mean, you mentioned hygiene. You're going to see that, is her hair clean? Is her nails clean? Does she wash? Does she brush her teeth? All these things are showing you that she's clean. Is her house clean? How does she present to you? Does she smell clean? All these things you're going to see. What are you going to see differently from getting intimate with her in terms of hygiene and what she can do? What are you going to see there? That's what I'd like to know. What confirmation do you need before marriage there?
Okay, in my own little experience, I have met women in past who look so beautiful, makeup with good hair. The house is fine, but zero hygiene.
Zero hygiene.
Yeah, like you wanna go in there, you find you are disappointed. Like outside is better than inside. They put more focus on doing makeup, looking so nice, but inside is zero.
Yeah, but
So,
then
okay.
you could
Yeah,
have
what's
that
that?
when you
But-
do get married, though. You could have that when you do have the good sex. Then you are having a relationship, and then she might fall back on her hygiene. So it's just the same flip
Yeah,
flop.
but at least I know this person. This is how this person used to be. Then anything happening is what I can work on. I'll know that someone can fall back on something. But at least I met this person with my first perspective that this is exactly what I want. This is how I knew this person to be. At least rather than me being disappointment on a honeymoon day.
Yeah.
It seems like someone deceived me now saying that okay, no sex before marriage. I am a virgin.
Yeah.
Not like I'm looking for a virgin, but imagine now I meet a girl, I want to marry the girl, and the girl says, oh, we can't have sex before marriage. I say, why? And she said, because I'm a virgin. I just vow to my God or whatever.
Yeah.
I just to myself that I'm not going to have sex until I get married. Then I respect her decision because I truly love her. Not because I wouldn't want to have sex. So at the end of the day, on our honeymoon, I found out that she
She's not a
wasn't a
virgin. I know
virgin.
what she's
How
doing.
do you expect me to feel? The relationship is built on lies.
Yeah.
So how do I start?
Finish.
How do I start
So-
believing other things that she might be saying?
So
coming
then,
up?
what about okay then? So say somebody, say you like a woman who's a size 8 to 10. You don't like a bigger woman.
Yeah.
Now everything's all good for the first 3 years, and then next minute now she's all put weight on. So now to you, that is not desirable to your eyes. Yeah, regardless of whether the sex is amazing, this is not something that you walked into of a woman being bigger than what she is.
Yeah.
Because your preference is, I like slim women.
Yeah, but to me,
Superficial though.
Yeah.
but to me, the wisdom I have, I've already know that when a woman start having children,
Say she
start
don't have
having
children though.
she
Let's
becomes-
just take it back to say she doesn't have children yet,
Could be a health
and she could be
implication.
something she's put weight on, and
But
you've had amazing sex. Something's happened now where it's out of her control. It's the same scenario.
But I need to know the reason of that something. I always like detail. Is it like she's sick?
She could be sick. Yeah.
Then I can understand. I'm not
Yeah.
stupid. I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
understand.
it's- that
I
one
can't
is
battle. I
very-
can't
Listen,
battle
there's,
nature.
there's men
But
and
these
women
are all
who
the
still
reasons
watch
why
out.
people cheat.
Yeah,
These are
exactly.
Sorry, can I
fundamentals
say
as to why
something?
people cheat.
There is no good excuse to cheat.
There's not.
If we must telling ourselves truth. Just that when we cheat, when they catch us, we start. It's you that it was nagging.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
you that pushed me. There's no good excuse to cheat
No.
There's
because
no good
the
excuse,
reason-
but it happens.
Yeah,
it happens. That's the
Yeah.
reality. It happens.
That's the reality of life.
That's the reality of life. But the reason why people cheat is because they lack principle of themselves.
Yeah.
If you have
But-
principle to say,
But
Yeah.
see.
Thank
No,
you.
But
Thank
sometimes
you. Because if
a
you're not
woman
happy
can
with
push
simply
you.
say,
yeah,
Sometimes a woman can push you, or a man can push you. Let's say, for example, I'm with a woman in the house. She now got there. She just getting me crazy, and there's a girl outside.